The most crowded places on Earth are not the cities you would name. They are 5 islands, and after them the numbers drop away. We start in the Caribbean, off the coast of Honduras. Bonacca is a key beside the much larger island of Bonacca, and almost none of it is land. The town is built on stilts, out over the reef. Wooden walkways run where streets would be. People get around by boat. Around 5,000 people live on roughly 11 hectares. The obvious question is why? Bonacca is right there, far bigger and mostly empty. The answer is sandflies. The big island is thick with them. The key, out in the breeze, is not. So a whole town chose a rock the size of a few city blocks over the land next door. A hurricane took most of it apart in 1998. They rebuilt on the same key. Fadiouth sits off the coast of Senegal, and it is not built on rock. The island is made of shells. For centuries, people here ate clams and cockles and threw the shells into the shallows. The shells piled up and kept piling up until there was ground to stand on. In places that layer is meters deep, the island is entirely their own leftovers. Around 9,000 people live on it now, packed onto 15 hectares. There are no cars, there is no room for them. A wooden footbridge 400 meters long is the only way across from the mainland. The grain stores had to go somewhere else entirely, raised on stilts on separate islets. And on the next shell island over is the cemetery, where Muslims and Christians are buried side by side. Apleichau is a small island off the south side of Hong Kong. 87,000 people live on 1.33 square kilometers. 50 years ago, it was a fishing village of a few thousand, reachable only by boat. Families lived on the water as much as on the land, in the shelter across the channel. Then came a bridge, and then the towers. This is crowding of a completely different kind from the last one. Fadiouth is dense because everything is squeezed together on the ground. Apleichau is dense because it went upwards. Some of its residential blocks run past 70 stories. A single one of them holds more people than the whole of Fadiouth. The island still has a working harbor along one shore and towers along the other. Fishing boats and high-rises looking at each other across the water. Nearly the same number on the chart as an island made of shells. Which is what a density figure hides. Malé is the capital of the Maldives, and it is the clearest case on this list. The island is the city. There is no countryside to expand into, no suburbs, no edge. 150,000 people live on 2 square kilometers. That is close to a third of everyone in the country, on one island. The whole shoreline is seawall. The beaches are gone, built over decades ago. There was not even room for the airport. It is on a different island. When a capital runs out of land, it usually spreads inland. The Maldives had nowhere to spread. So they built a new island instead. Malé was reclaimed from a lagoon nearby, specifically to take the overflow. And all of this sits about 1.5 meters above the sea. Which makes Malé 2 problems at once: too many people on too little land. and the land itself going away. It is the most crowded capital city in the world. It is not the most crowded island. Santa Cruz del Islote is in the Caribbean, off the coast of Colombia. It is about 1.5 hectares, 2 football pitches near enough. Roughly 1,200 people live on it. That figure is an estimate rather than a count. The island empties and fills as fishermen come and go, and published numbers start around 500. Take the higher end, and you get about 80,000 people per square kilometer. There is no space that is not a building. Around 100 houses, wall to wall, and 1 small square in the middle. That square is the only public ground on the island. It is where the children play. There is a school, there is no hospital. There is no cemetery either. There is no room for one, so the dead are taken to the mainland. Fresh water arrives by boat, and for years the Navy delivered it. Electricity used to run a few hours a night off a generator. Solar panels changed that only recently. And the reason anyone settled here at all is the same reason as Bonacca. Fishermen found it about 1.5 centuries ago and noticed there were no mosquitoes. So they stayed, and their families stayed, and nobody left. The island has even grown a little, as people pack coral and rubble around the edges to make room. Almost everyone on it is related to almost everyone else. The next island down is at 26,000, well behind the 5th. These 5 sit on their own.